Everything comes down to practice, not talent, not motivation, not luck. Practice. If you practice long enough, you get better. If you stop practicing, you fall behind, no matter how talented you are. That's the part most people don't want to hear, because practice isn't exciting, it's not dramatic, and it doesn't give instant results, but it works. Look around. The people winning in life aren't the most gifted. They're the ones who kept practicing when others quit. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they stop practicing too soon. They wait to feel motivated. They wait to feel confident. They wait for the perfect moment. And while they wait, practice disappears. If you've ever felt like you're stuck, like you know you could do more, but you can't stay consistent, this audiobook is for you. Not to hype you up, not to push you unrealistically, but to show you one simple truth that actually works. You don't need more talent. You don't need more motivation. You need practice, done the right way. Because once practice becomes part of your daily life, everything starts to change. And that's what this audiobook is about. Everything comes down to practice. Chapter 1. Talent is not the problem. Most people blame talent when things don't work out. They say, "I'm just not good at this. I don't have what it takes. Some people are naturally better." This belief feels logical, but it's also misleading. Talent is not the real problem. Talent only gives you a starting point. It does not decide how far you go. Two people can start at the same level. One continues practicing, the other stops. Over time, the gap becomes obvious. Not because one became smarter, not because one was gifted, but because one stayed in practice. Talent fades without practice. Practice grows skill, even without talent. That's why people who start average often pass people who start strong. Not suddenly, not loudly, slowly, quietly. Practice works in the background. Every repetition teaches your brain something. Movements become smoother. Decisions become faster. Mistakes become fewer. Confidence doesn't come from thinking. It comes from repetition. Practice trains your nervous system to respond better over time. Most people wait to feel ready. They think confidence comes first. It doesn't. Readiness comes after practice, not before it. The people who improve are not the ones who feel confident early. They are the ones who practice despite feeling unsure. Capability is built first. Confidence follows later. That's the order. When people reverse this order, they stay stuck. They wait. They doubt. They overthink. Practice breaks that cycle. If you've ever looked at someone and thought, "How are they so good at this?" You're seeing their result, not their practice. Comparing your beginning to someone else's outcome is unfair. Everyone you admire paid with practice first. Stop asking, "Do I have talent?" Start asking, "Am I practicing enough?" Because talent does not decide who moves forward. Practice does. And once you accept that, self-doubt loses its power and progress finally begins. Chapter 2. Why most people fail. Most people think failure happens because of weakness. They believe people quit because they're lazy, unmotivated, or incapable. That assumption is wrong. Most people don't fail suddenly. They fade slowly. The real reason most people fail is inconsistency. They don't stop because they can't do the work. They stop because they don't do it regularly. They practice for a short time, then they pause. Then the pause becomes a habit. Progress doesn't disappear instantly. It erodes quietly. This is the pattern most people get stuck in. They start with excitement. They feel motivated for a few days. Life interrupts. Energy drops. Practice becomes optional. Once practice becomes optional, results slow down. And when results slow down, doubt shows up. The human brain is designed to save energy. When something feels repetitive or uncomfortable, the brain looks for relief, not improvement. Relief. Skipping practice feels easier than continuing it, so the brain labels skipping as reasonable. This is why inconsistency feels justified, not dangerous. When progress stops, most people blame themselves. They say, "Something is wrong with me." But the problem isn't who they are. The problem is what they stopped doing. They didn't lose ability, they lost rhythm. Many people believe intense effort will fix inconsistency. They try to compensate by working harder once in a while. That doesn't work. Practice only compounds when it's continuous. Short bursts don't build momentum. Regular repetition does. Inconsistency doesn't just slow progress. It damages trust with yourself. Each skipped session makes the next one harder. Each broken promise weakens confidence. Not because you failed, but because you stopped showing up. Most people don't need more willpower. They need fewer gaps. Consistency keeps practice alive, and practice keeps progress moving. When practice stays regular, failure loses its grip. Because people don't fail from doing too little. They fail from stopping too often. Chapter 3. Practice over motivation. After inconsistency, most people look for motivation. They think motivation will fix everything. They wait to feel inspired. They wait to feel energized. They wait to feel ready. Motivation feels powerful, but it's unreliable. Motivation is emotional. It depends on mood, sleep, stress, and external events. Some days it's there, most days it's not. When motivation disappears, practice usually disappears with it. That's why motivation creates a cycle, not progress. Motivation works at the beginning. It helps people start, but it was never designed to help people continue. Life doesn't slow down when motivation fades. Responsibilities don't pause. Distractions don't disappear. So motivation gets replaced by excuses, quietly. Practice doesn't depend on how you feel. It doesn't care if you're excited or tired. It doesn't wait for confidence. Practice works through repetition, not emotion. This is why practice is stable, and motivation is not. Motivation is feeling-based. Practice is system-based. Feelings change daily. Systems stay the same. When practice becomes part of a system, you no longer ask, "Do I feel like doing this?" You simply do it. At the beginning, practice feels forced. That's normal. Your brain resists routines it hasn't accepted yet. Discomfort is not a warning sign. It's an adjustment phase. Most people quit during this phase, not because practice doesn't work, but because it hasn't become automatic yet. With repetition, resistance drops. What once felt heavy becomes normal. What once required effort becomes routine. This is the moment people confuse discipline with motivation. In reality, it's just practice settling in. Stop asking, "How do I stay motivated?" Start asking, "How do I protect my practice?" Motivation will come and go. Practice is what stays, and when practice stays, progress becomes predictable. Chapter 4: The 1-Hour Rule. After motivation fails, most people blame time. "I'm too busy. My schedule is packed. I'll start when life slows down." But life doesn't slow down. Time was never the real problem. Lack of structure was. People believe they need long hours to see results. They think success requires extreme effort. It doesn't. What success actually needs is consistent focus, not more time. Scattered effort wastes hours. Focused effort uses minutes wisely. One focused hour does what unfocused days cannot. An hour removes excuses. It feels doable. It feels realistic. And when something feels realistic, it gets done. This is why 1 hour is powerful. Not because it's long, but because it's repeatable. 1 hour does not mean multitasking. It does not mean checking your phone. It does not mean half attention. 1 hour means one task, one direction, no distractions. This kind of focus trains your mind to stay with discomfort instead of escaping it. One long session once a week feels productive, but it doesn't build momentum. Daily practice builds rhythm. Rhythm builds stability. Stability builds results. This is how small efforts start to compound. Quietly, predictably. Practice doesn't reward you immediately. It rewards you later, with interest. Each hour builds on the last one. Each session makes the next easier. Most people quit before compounding begins. Those who don't separate themselves naturally. When practice is scheduled, you stop negotiating. You don't ask, "Should I do this today?" You already decided. This removes mental resistance. Practice becomes a fixed part of your day, not a daily debate. 1 hour doesn't change everything in a day, but 1 hour changes the direction of your life. Because when 1 hour becomes daily, practice becomes permanent. And when practice becomes permanent, results become inevitable. 1 hour daily changes everything. Chapter 5: Practice builds identity and confidence. Most people believe confidence comes first. They think confident people take action and unsure people wait. That belief keeps people stuck. Confidence is not a requirement, it's a result. Confidence is built through evidence. Each time you practice, you give your brain proof that you can show up. Small proof builds trust. Repeated proof builds confidence. This is why thinking doesn't create confidence. Action does. Before results show up, something else changes. Your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries. You start seeing yourself as someone who practices. This shift happens quietly, not when you win, not when others notice, but when you keep showing up without being watched. Real practice is not exciting. It's repetitive. It's uneventful. It feels ordinary. And that's why it works. Boring practice removes emotion. It removes drama. It removes overthinking. It leaves only consistency. Most people quit when practice feels normal. They mistake calm progress for stagnation. But this is the phase where identity is forming. If you stay through this phase, you don't just improve your skill, you change who you are. At some point, practice stops feeling forced. You don't need reminders. You don't negotiate. You practice because that's who you are now. This is where discipline disappears. and identity takes over. Practice doesn't just improve performance, it builds self-trust. You start believing yourself when you say you'll do something. That trust becomes quiet confidence, not loud, not arrogant, stable. You don't need to become a new person overnight. You need to practice like the person you want to become. Identity is not chosen, it's practiced. And once practice becomes part of who you are, confidence stops being a question. It becomes a byproduct. At this point, one thing should be clear. Success isn't mysterious. It isn't reserved for a few people. And it isn't controlled by motivation or talent. It's controlled by what you practice. You don't need to fix your entire life today. You don't need to feel confident. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to feel motivated. All you need is one decision, to keep practicing, even when it feels ordinary. One focused hour, done daily, protected from distraction. That's enough. Not to impress anyone, not to rush results, but to move forward consistently. Every time you practice, you send yourself a message. I keep my word. I show up. I don't quit easily. That message matters more than results in the beginning, because it changes how you see yourself. Progress won't always feel exciting. Some days will feel slow. Some days will feel repetitive. That doesn't mean it's not working. That means it's becoming part of you. So don't ask yourself how fast this will work. Ask yourself something simpler. Can I practice today? If the answer is yes, you're on the right path. Everything doesn't change at once, but direction changes quickly when practice becomes daily. Because in the end, everything comes down to practice. Thank you.